What's up, YouTube? Lee here from Card Games United. Got myself a new camera, new tripod. Hopefully it's better, easier to work with than the equipment we have been working with. So I thought I'd give it a quick test run. Talk about a deck I've showcased here on the channel a couple times, my Great Nature build. So we're looking at the starter right now. You run Pencil Koala. On boost, if it hits, give something 4K, end of turn it dies, and you draw a card. I don't like a lot of the forerunners for Great Nature. This one was just sort of the best of bad options, in my opinion. A lot of them are pretty conditional and don't really have a very big effect. Most of them are just give something power and then end of turn it dies. At least this gets you an extra draw and sort of sticks around as a 5k boost. But yeah, I just don't think there's great starters for this deck. It's nothing special about him. Oh, he's kind of cute. Look at that face. Look at it. Alright, moving on to our grade 0 lineup. This is our grade 0 lineup. You can see 1 stand, 11 crit, 4 heal. 4 heal's obvious, it's staple. The crits are really good in this deck, I believe, just because you can throw it on a big rearguard that's going to attack like twice, and just be like, well, either you're taking this or you're guarding it twice. Deal with that. It can be really fun. The one stand trigger was much more useful in past builds for what, if you don't know, this is success 20k, GB1. If something dies in end of turn, you can put this, and this is successful. You can put this into Soul and call it back. Not too terribly useful in this variant, but again, look at that face. I'll be straight honest with you, there's a lot of things in this deck I just play because they're cute. It's Great Nature. I'm sorry. So 11 crits, 3 of which are vanillas. These guys put themselves into Soul to give something 3k. Not terribly relevant, but maybe sometimes you use it. This is your big belly, go into Soul, give him 5k, draw a card guy. Staple 4 of, just cause. Running 1 of the Fighter Collection heal trigger, just cause, again, sometimes useful. 3 of the bind to unflip or soul charge dude, much more useful. Been thinking of switching to just 4 of that, but you know, again, cute. This, look at that. Why wouldn't you run that? Look at that face. It's cute. Now on to our grade 1 lineup. 4, 4, 3, 3. So he can give himself 4k and then die at end of turn, and if you're in GB1 and he's successful, unflip and draw. Awesome card. Gets you unflips, which are very important in the deck. Gets you more draws, more power, just all around really good card. The PG has an effect where if you have a big value Vanguard and it's retired on either rearguard or Guardian Circle, Soul Blast 1 to draw a card and countercharge. Really nice. The Soul Blast is a little bit of a concern. This used to be to him to Rubber Pangolin, which lets you unflip and soul charge, and the souls become more of a concern with this guy and a few other things. So it's definitely a viable way to build, but this is just really good for whenever you need it. Just being, hey, I boost for 11, get you a draw and an unflip. This guy can't be killed by effects. He has another ability which you never use. This guy, you can discard to Stride. He has another ability which you use if you have the wrong big belly in hand, but neither of those effects are worth talking about. On to the grade 2 lineup. 3, 4 of the Mac Daddy, and 4 of a recent favorite. So these two are real important to the deck. This guy, he's kind of nice, but he could also kind of be anything. He has that binocular tiger effect of when he swings, give something 4, then kill it at the end of turn. He can also counterblast to give something 4, kill it at the end of turn, and draw a card. Nice, just straight out give something 8k and get a draw. But again, he could be anything. These two, though, are really important. Cran Tiger, if you don't know, GB1, when he's boosted, Counterblast 1, stand something. Oh! Give it 4k, and end of turn, kill it and draw. More of those draws, real great aggression, just pushes the deck where it needs to go. Gray Belly, success 20k, if he's successful when he attacks, which is a really annoying wording. Soul Blast 1 gives something the red tech skill, also annoying, that it dies at end of turn and draw a card. So you give that to 2 cards. And that's essentially why he's useful, just because you can pop off with him and get a lot of draws. But they did do his effect in the most annoying way possible, where he has to be successful before the boost, and he has to have the things stay on board and live to draw the card. Granted, if you stack like 2 of them on the same thing, it still goes off twice because they were on field to cue both effects. But if they say get Denial Griffined or something, it's a red text skill, so it's off the board, so the red text skill doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, just if he pops off, just gets you a ton of draws, really helpful. On to the grade 3 lineup. Straight up 4 and 4. Teacher's Cane of Affection, success 25, does this weird thing if you have no cards in front row, which I've totally forgotten about. Yeah, it's been a long time since I used him for that. Also has the effect of Counterblast 1, when something strides on top of him, you can call a success card from your hand, comma, give something 4k, and end of turn, kill it and draw a card. Doesn't have to call a card to give something 4k. Just a nice backup ride option. Most of the time you want to be riding this. I could see potentially riding this if you really wanted to call this to rear guard, because the rear guard effect is really nice on this guy. But overall, this guy is just the nuts. What he does is on ride or stride, unfortunately once per turn, but on ride or stride, you can call a card, give it 4k, at end of turn kill it and draw a card. And then he has the GB2? GB1 effect of on swing, counterblast 1. At the end of battle, it attacked. If it's successful, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your cards, give it 4k, and stand it. You don't get a draw off that one, but still really pushes the aggression, really gets the deck where it wants to go. On to the stride lineup. We got 4 G-Guards. So this one I rarely go into. It's essentially just you can call up to 4 cards from your hand, choose any number of rear guards, give them resist, and cannot be hit. Occasionally that becomes useful. It's sort of a niche tech, though. Most of the time you want to be going for these 3. The Fighter Collection G-Guard, what she does is Counterblast 1, choose any number of your Guardians. They get the effect that when they retire, draw a card. So essentially the idea is you just pitch your whole hand into the Guardian Circle, drop her, give it all the effect, and draw a new hand. She's gotten me out of a lot of tight spots. She's a really great card. This guy, target 1, end of turn it dies, and you unflip, and this gets 5k shield. Not bad, not great. This guy, counterblast 1, choose your Vanguard and a rear guard, and they get 4k for each of your circles without a unit on it. That includes lock circles, although this is not an unlocker, and that's why we weren't good right after the Zoo Booster, and that kind of makes me mad. But yeah, if the rear guard's power goes over 20, you can draw a card. Sometimes useful, sometimes makes you like stack a trigger on rearguard defensively, just because the 5k may or may not matter on the Vanguard, but the draw card definitely could save you. Um, Other than that, not much to talk about. Big shield, potentially. Uh, yeah, only 4 G-Guards instead of 5, just because the stride lineup in this deck is pretty tight. So, here's the issue with this deck. I'm only running one Ball This guy. So what this guy does is Soul Blast 1, flip up a G unit. Your front row gets 4k for each face-up G unit. The effect that when they hit, draw a card, and at end of turn, your front row rear guards retire. This guy is amazing. He's bonkers. He goes off early. He's amazing late. Just every phase of this game, this guy is amazing. Just the perfect stride. Why do I only run one? Well, that's because I don't have a lot of money. I could order more, but with G-Series ending, it's kind of hard to picture, just when Great Nature comes into Premium Standard, when I'm going to be playing it again. Yeah, if you want to run the deck, I'd definitely recommend 2, 3, 4 of these guys. Only got the one, because he's expensive. Our substitute is 4 Sage Saint Big Belly. Counterblast 1, flip up a G unit, choose one of your rear guards, give it 4k for each face-up G units, and then give something the effect that when it hits, stand as many as you have face-up G units. It's another just pump up a dude to huge numbers. Hopefully you have a Crayon Tiger, hopefully you have a Big Belly on rear guard that can stand this dude to be swinging twice for huge numbers. And then if he hits, you can stand the other column, which is cool. Not relevant, but cool. Because usually when he hits, they die. Because usually you stack the crits there. I'm just going to stop talking. 2 copies of Monogarmer. Counterblast 1, G Persona. Give your front row rear guards 4k, and the effect that if their power is 20 or greater, your opponent can't guard with grade 1 or graders. This dude's just in there for just, I know they have a couple PGs, and I think I can close out the game this turn. Yeah, just a nice tech, surprise aggression, good to have. Next up, Zoa! My baby Zoa. Zareth, Dragon of Death Guard and Zoa, Ultimate Stride rules. On Ultimate Stride, Counterblast 2, draw a card, call a card from your hand, give it until end of turn. The effects of this card's power is always 9999. Is that enough nines? 9999. 9. And if it hits, win the game. If it deals damage, win the game. Although this isn't Neonectar, so that clause doesn't really matter. But anyway, if it hits, win the game, and it can't be targeted for effects, including Sand Triggers, unfortunately, including Crayon Tiger, unfortunately, including Big Belly, unfortunately. Yeah, just occasionally Zoa busts out and gets you that clutch victory. Really, I've done such a 180 on this card because just looking at it, it's like, oh, it's the word Zero Dragon. You just PG and you're done. But it's the one that I wouldn't want to go without, because even in the bleakest, darkest, you're just getting your ass completely handed to you game, Zoa's just sitting in your G zone like, you have a chance. Stay in there. We'll win this together. That's why I like Zoa. Zoa and Drachma, man, they're just the funnest cards. They're silly and ridiculous, and they're not nearly as good as like Stark or Dust or whatever. But they're just great. I love them. Next up, we have some chaff. these guys, essentially you go into first stride if you need to save Bowel Wall for later. I'd really like to cut like at least him for another Bowel Wall. This guy can occasionally be useful. He gives all your rear guards the effect that they can't die at end of turn, and he gets 4k for each card you chose. It's nice. Just helps you go plus, 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 especially if you have like a couple gray bellies. Yeah, just real good. This guy lets you put 4 cards back in your deck if you're close to deck out. Kind of mediocre. I might honestly just change these two for another, for other the dragon dude. Of course, got to talk about this guy. 1 copy, Immortality Professor, darn it, Great Nature names, why are you so hard to say? Sahasrara? Whatever. Viera. Act. Discard 2 cards. All your rear guards get 10k. If there are 1 or less cards in your hand, this card gets 40k and a crit. So, it's a GB8, by the way. This card is just the finisher that they don't anticipate, because this deck can draw a ton of cards into hand. And then you just drop this guy, and you go like, okay, putting 50 on all my rear guards, my Vanguard gets 40 and a crit, and your opponent just sits there like, what happened? Of course you lose if they survive this, but I've never had them survive this, because it's huge. Especially if you can get like Cran Tiger or Big Belly on board to just go 59, 109, 116 rather. Yeah, so that's my Great Nature Big Belly build. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't eat too much meat. It's bad for you. Surprise.